What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another inside look at my life between screens. My name is Anthony Urquidez, and I am a creative and a father and a husband from Southern California. And I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted. I'm tired. I'm grateful though. I am completely grateful to be here. I'm glad that I'm able to record this podcast. I'm glad that I'm able to be able to be here and I don't know, share my perspective, share my grievances, share my look, my lens. And if anybody benefits from it, then, hey, if one person benefits from it, mission accomplished. Thank you again. Thank you again for being here. It's been a hectic week at the 9 to 5. Football season has us moving in on lots of banners and posters and stuff like that for your favorite beer brands. If you didn't know, that's what I do. I am a graphic artist in my day job, and I am a creative insomniac in the off time. So, master of all trades. Grateful, thankful, tired. What else? What else can I use to describe right now, man? It's just been it's been fun. It's been fun though. Been fun. I've been doing a 36-day challenge on Instagram over at urquidez.co. That's URQUIDEZ.co. And that is actually the HTML, the URL of my web address as well. We're actually working on getting the site finished and everything like that. All that fun stuff of if I can be honest, man, doing websites is not my favorite. If I had the budget to give somebody, thousands of dollars to work on a proper functioning website, oh man, I would do it. But for the time being, your boy does it himself. I know a bit just from over the years of just basic design principles and doing things for MySpace layouts and things like that. I know I at least have thank God, I at least have a basic idea of web design, so that way I can get going and get everything situated that I needed. But yeah, so anyways, I have a 36-day challenge that I've been doing over there. I've been actually the past couple days, including today, there's been a couple things going on at the Urquidez compound that had me a little unable to finish my last three letters, which what is it? F, G, and H? Yeah, F, G, and H. I'm just doing a letter a day, just trying to think of different ways of representing the alphabet and trying to push myself to a new I don't know, push myself out of that comfort zone that we talked about last week, out of that, facing that resistance of, man, I can't draw another l- letter C. I can't do it. Well, you know what? Figure out a way to do one more letter C, So yeah, I mean that's been it's been pretty a lot more fulfilling, than I actually uh, first thought it would be, and a lot more creatively. I don't know. uh, It's allowing me to kind of see things in a different perspective and kind of look. Each letter has me looking at the next one, going like, okay, how can I make this a little bit better? How can I make this a little bit better? It's been completely one of those things that, I heard Steve Raboyne, shout out RDC, Raboyne Design Company. I ordered some merch from him in the mail, and it got here pronto. And so if you go over to my Instagram, I still have a little video up of an unpackaging that I did for the stuff that I ordered. And man, like, I love the shirt. It fits well. The design obviously is great. Nothing but shout outs to that guy. He is one of those unspoken mentors that I look at everything that he does and I go, okay, you know what I mean? Not so much if it, I don't know, man. How do you say it? I don't want to base it off success, but just what he does, how he does it, what his look is like. It's kind of that feeling of I'm definitely not going to copy the guy. That's not my style whatsoever. But it's like a buffet. I'm trying to take what I can use and leave the rest. So I try and think, what would Raboyne do? WWRD, trying to figure out, all right, how would he look at this? And some days I look at it like, okay, what would Chris Do do? And other days, I'm what I'm working on is what would Anthony Urquidez do? And that's the $1 million question, I guess, right? That's right. I got my pad whiteboard filled out. I've got them all situated. You can see in, out, applause, woo. That's the most important one. I'm saving that for the most important moment, which is the prestigious favorite design of the week. I spotted this one today. If you're, I highly suggest that you go check this guy out. The Ben Douglas on Instagram. It's the Ben Douglas, Douglass. I saw this design. It's Flair Savage 92. I mean, I can't say any much more than that. I mean, you that's all I got to say about that design, man. That it looks so good, and it's one of those that probably gonna go out and buy it. If you couldn't tell by the drop, it's a Flair versus Savage matchup graphic. Made it look like a campaign logo from '92, but uh, like he says, doesn't make a ton of sense. But damn if it doesn't look good. And if you're interested in buying it, it's over for sale now at sign RSVLTS at results on Instagram. So yeah, make sure you go and check that out. That's my favorite design of the week, man. I saw that and I was like, man, there's no way possible that I can't feature that on this week's episode, man. That was that makes me want to step up my illustration skills. I have a little bit. I have a basic, tiny morsel of knowledge in that sense for illustration, but yeah, man, go and get one of those. Go and get one of those shirts, and we can match. We can go out and make sure you tag me. So this week, I actually wanted to talk about expectations. We talked about the comfort zone last week, and I think what makes us comfortable, or what makes us allows us to stay in that comfort zone, is the expectation that it's always going to be comfortable, and the expectation that nothing can go wrong, and the expectation that I don't know, the ostrich in the sand syndrome, that the ostrich puts his head in the sand and ignores danger when it sees danger, and it's like that only works so much, right? It's like that scene in 50 Days of Summer where that's right 50 Days of Summer, that indie movie from way back when that made everybody fall in love with Zoe Deschanel and turned everybody hipster. That movie, where they have the expectation doesn't line up with Joseph Gordon-Levitt's idea of reality, or the reality doesn't line up with his expectations. Turn that around. And so he ends up becoming extremely disappointed when he goes to Summer's party and sees that, oh no, I expected that she was going to be all over me and she was going to love me, and it was going to be this, I don't know, rekindling or whatever. But in fact, no, complete opposite. And so at the end of that scene, you see him completely crushed and feeling disappointed because reality doesn't line up with your expectations. And, I know I've fallen victim to this tons of times, of where either you get a prospective client and you give your heart to them and you tell them and you try and sell everything to them, and then all of a sudden they don't go with you, and you feel like, oh my gosh, how could I lose out? No, I lost out on this amazing money or opportunity, if you will. And really, if you look at it, you didn't lose out on anything. It wasn't yours to begin with. So reality kind of has a way of being the ultimate calibration. You know what I mean? I don't know. The world's going to do what it does. People are going to make their decisions, and it's not on you. I think we as creatives, we tend to live and die by our work, and therefore we want to look for opportunities to either do our work or give our work out or get our work out there to maybe somebody who's gonna, somebody who just reaches out, who may not be qualified, who may not be someone we should even be, I don't want to say giving our time to, because that seems harsh, but someone who isn't a qualified prospective client, someone who's just maybe just reaching out to you on Instagram or something like that. And no offense to the people who've reached out to me on Instagram. I'm not talking about you. Trust me. The people who have reached out to me on Instagram tend to be close friends of mine and people who are comfortable, you know what I mean, who know me in that sense of being able to reach out personally, And I mean, I know that nowadays that's the way to go about it. And I mean, for me, it's me as well, I guess. What can you expect from not having a site up yet? How do you expect people get in touch with you? That's one of those things where, as I'm transitioning now to try and reposition myself into more of a expert in training status, rather than being a jack of all trades. That's one thing I'm starting to see of, like, oh, okay, I know what I need to do. But we as creatives, we tend to just want to look at any opportunity that we get or any opportunity that comes our way as ours, and as something that we for lack of a better term, expect to come our way. You know, uh, like I said before, for me, there were many times where I've expected either client meetings or interviews, you know, or whatever it may be, blind dates, whatever it may be. When reality doesn't line up with your expectations, it's this kind of feeling of like, oh wow. But really, there's no one else to I don't want to say blame, but taking that control of like, okay, who put these expectations out there? And like Buddha said, expectation is the source of all disappointment. All suffering goes back to expectation. I know that the moments where I've either been saddest or felt a ton of grief that wasn't, just whenever I felt some sort of grief, creatively, it's the expectation of, oh, okay, why isn't this looking as good as I want it in my head? Or why isn't this client seeing how amazing I am? I mean, I don't know I don't know however many of you look at the client as your enemy. That probably be a good topic for a future episode. But realize that the client is not your enemy. The client should be a partner in what you do, and the expectations of what you set up for that, solely fall on your shoulders. When I came across, I should come up with a drop for this. When I came across The Future and Chris Do on YouTube, I can honestly say, as a creative person, or as a creative, I don't know, someone who creates and uses applications and whatnot, that I felt as if, man, like the client is giving me tons of resistance. The client is the problem. The client has all these demands and doesn't see how great my work is, and I know everything because I am the designer and I am the end all be all. And it wasn't till 4 months ago, that I learned that the way that I was going about things, the past 10 years of my creative life, my professionally creative career, was completely wrong. And in my opinion, that's just my personal opinion of, I don't feel as if treating the client as an enemy is, or as the form of resistance is, is a valid perspective. At this point now, I'm realizing that no, you're the one that takes on the client, and if they don't see, and I don't know. Like I said before, we tend to. I gotta backtrack a little bit. I tend to get a little ahead of myself. So I gotta write that down. We tend to see the client as an enemy, but coming across the videos of Chris Do talking about, really these expectations that you put on just these phone calls that may not be qualified. They actually you're I don't know why I'm struggling to say this. I don't know why I'm struggling to find a line on how to say this. Uh, you need to know that every job that comes your way is not your job. Um, I think, right, that we need to look. Yeah, I hate hearing no. I hate being rejected. Uh, for example, today, or not today, this week, my son has been sick, and he's wanted nothing to do with me, but he's wanted his mother 100% of the time. And that rejection on a human level hurts. You hate being rejected. You hate either hearing no or having, you know what I mean, the cold shoulder or whatever it may be, but you just hate being rejected. And I think we all fear rejection on a certain level, on a basic level. And whether or not we've gotten over that rejection or that fear of rejection, that's another story. But I think there's always a base level fear of rejection. And typically, creatives don't really learn how to battle with that rejection, which is crazy considering that 90% of our job is probably going to be facing rejection or if typically, right, typically the way that we've been doing things, we see a lot of rejection, and I mean, if you look at it like we're playing baseball, I mean, I've held on to this analogy for a little bit now, you know what I mean, and it's kind of given me a little bit of perspective and guidance, and in moments where I definitely feel where, your boy here is gonna throw in the towel creatively and just, I mean, I don't know, you know. I like I told you, I aim for perfection. I aim for everything appearing to be flawless. And if it doesn't happen, then I don't want to do it. And you know, I look at it like baseball. You hit three pitches out of 10, you're considered a great batter. You hit 4 pitches out of 10, you hit less than half, and you're wanted. You're considered a fantastic batter. You know what I mean? And you have, so it's looking at things like that, man. Really being able to change the lens in which you look at things and go, okay, you know what? Yeah, my expectation is going to be 1,000%, or my expectation is I'm going to land this opportunity, or my expectation is going to be XYZ. But just know, you know what I mean? If it doesn't happen, just stick to it, just stick to it. Reach out to people, it, face that reality, and if you need help, seek it. And big hint, I mean, we all need help. We all, at a certain point, need help. Help is not a weakness. If you're out there and you're feeling like you need help, but you're going to appear weak, please know, just please understand. I just want to tell you, help is not a weakness. I've gone 32 years in life. I've been taught help is at the foundation of things. If you need to talk to somebody, if you need to seek out things, then there's places to do it. It's not until recently that I realized that seeking help out online as well. I mean, now we have this fantastic interface, this this online portal that directs us anywhere that we need to go, and allows us to search anything we need to search and find anything we need to find. And if you're lucky, and if you're open to it, there are places where there are help. I don't know what type of help you may need, but there are places that can help. For me personally, I was never taught, I the creative stuff, I don't want to say comes naturally to me, because I definitely have realized that I need to work at it. That if I don't stay consistent on some sort of creative output and creative outlet, then I start feeling anxious inside, and I start feeling anxiety manifesting in other sorts of ways. And it's like much in the sense much in the sense of where I know that I need to go work out. I need to go hit the gym. I need to go working on it, but eat right, because that makes me feel better uh, mentally and physically. Mentally and creatively, I feel completely better when I'm attempting to learn new things, and I'm attempting to better myself. And I think that's a really, really, really crucial part in understanding, like, what makes you tick. I wish I could be able to tell each and every one of you that listens what makes you tick, and what makes you you, and why we do the things we do. I can only speak from a personal perspective, so please treat me like a buffet. Take what you need and leave the rest. Be pragmatic. I don't mind. I'm not the end all be all perspective on these things, man, but all I can do is provide a perspective, my perspective. Like I said, there's no one newer than you. And, for me, working out my brain, working out my muscles, whether it be, the biceps or the creative muscle or the brain or whatever, but doing that makes me feel tons better. The four perceived, or I'm sorry, the four pillars of happiness, the theorized four pillars of happiness are perceived progress, perceived control, friendship, and transcendence. And so that perceived control, because mind you, perceived, that's a big part of it too. We're not really in control of anything. Life is going to happen. It's life on life's terms. What are you going to do about you? How are you going to cope? How are you going to react? I hope it's in a healthy manner. Reach out. But yeah, it's it's one of those things where expectation leads us down a road that it's easy to go down, but it's hard to get out of. And it's really comfortable to live in a life of expectation versus looking at things in a realistic manner. Every job opportunity that comes my way is not my job. It wasn't mine to start with, right? Anything that happens or whatever, like you just don't have control of things. So all you can really do is sit down, do the best work that you can that fulfills you. You sit down, you do the work, and many people want to know, what is the work. Just like when people say, they're listening, or they no, man, they, or they're all with them. They want to keep you down. Who's they? Who is they? Just do the work. Well, what is the work, man? I don't know. It's whatever makes you tick. It's whatever makes you feel like you're moving forward in life. That perceived progress. Those four pillars, man. That's the moment that I learned that was a crucial lesson in knowing that uh, this stuff that we go through isn't one dimensional. I mean, I don't know. It's I think every day we kind of understand more about mental health and what mental aspects, I don't mean for lack of a better term, but I mean whatever goes into trying to live a healthy life, both inside and out, and those four pillars of happiness, the perceived progress, perceived control, friendship, and transcendence, overcoming and trying to, learning and rising above it all. That's huge. I know in moments when I feel like life is, when I feel like even the stuff that should be in my control isn't, and I can't remember simple things like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I forgot that bill that needed to get paid. Little things like that, or like when, for when little stuff happens, it's okay. Well, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? It's, yeah, you don't have control of those things, but you have the control over the way you react. If a client wants you to do a rewrite and it's, or a redesign and it's in the contract and or it's in the proposal and the contract is signed and everything and you're pushing back, okay. But realize at the end of the day, the client pays your bills. we're not in the business of making art. I make art on my off time, and if I'm able to make money off of it, cool. If not, cool. Uh, design fulfills me, but also, I'm not Mother Teresa. I have a little one to raise. I have a family to take care of. There are bills, life, reality, So it's one of those moments of yeah, you set up your boundaries, you set up your reality, and as long as it doesn't negatively affect or impact somebody else, you don't live life on anybody else's terms in that sense. I'm not saying go out be an anarchist, like that's no. Just don't go out create chaos. Go out do good, work hard, do good. The Burnley brand way. If you get a moment to go check them out, you know, it's knowing that expectation of things, knowing that what you place on yourself, knowing that limits that you place on yourself can destroy you. It can completely destroy any sense of learning or growth if you place limits on yourself. One of the biggest things that I've learned in the past, I don't even want to say the past, but one of the biggest things that I've learned is that when I place limits and when I place restrictions on the things that I learn and where I learn them, then I don't actually grow or learn at all. Because there's always going to be an opportunity to go like, well, this person either knows more in this sense but doesn't know more here than you, or this person is, I don't know. You can be a cynic, and I've spent too long being cynical and pessimistic, so I'm kind of choosing to turn it the other way and go optimistic and realistic. Not turning a blind eye at reality, but going realistic and being optimistic and knowing that, in this creative life, and it transfers over to real life, but in this creative life, I don't. Hold on. I feel like I need to back up on that. When I say creative life and when I say real life, I feel like that it almost. I'm not talking about work life balance. Um, I'm not talking about, you know what I mean, you give your best 8 hours and then that's it. You know, I think we know as creative people that when when we when, when we move forward and when we can't just turn that off. We look at things. I know for myself, I look at things and I'm constantly downloading visually, you know what I mean, things to my brain. Oh, I see this design, I see this. Okay, maybe I can apply this here. Okay, maybe this decal, or maybe this window sign, or maybe, you know what I mean, something as small as a cufflink, you know, gives me inspiration, you know, to do what I need to do, what I feel like I need to do creatively to feel fulfilled, right? Um, when you know, real life for me, I when I'm with at this current moment when I'm with my son, I don't do any design work. I don't do any creative work. I've drawn a big line at you know, raising this kid and trying to give him the attention that they need, and making sure that I'm there 100%, 110% even, to make sure that I'm not lacking in any sense in that way, to make sure I give him a fair shot. So when I say, you know, the creative life from real life, I don't mean to talk about like almost in the sense of work life balance. I don't mean to talk in corporate terms like that. Um, you know, for me, my son is very real life. But what I get to do here, this creative life, is, you know, hopefully if he learns anything from it, great. Um, you know, I have him watching, not have him watching. Hold on. He watches, if it's on, you know, the future videos that are on, you know what I mean? That, you know, whenever I'm watching him and he comes strolling into the room. So, you know, when I'm when I'm not raising my son and I'm creatively outputting, there we go. That sounds a lot better. That just makes good. That makes me feel better. When I'm creatively outputting, you know, and not doing the raising, I feel as fulfilled. You know, there's a sense of fulfillment there, and knowing that, okay, it's like I'm setting my terms. I'm doing what I need to do. I am, you know, reading Blair Enns' book, The Win Without Pitching Manifesto. Has been a complete game changer for me, man. I mean, has been a complete game changer in the sense of, I've always felt that we as creatives need to, you know, place, not, I don't want to say place more of a value on our work, but um today I took my car, my wife took the car in today because the battery died. And I didn't go in there saying to the guy, or, you know, we didn't go in there saying to the guy, look, the battery's dead and this and that, and I want you to change it, and that's it. This is what I need. And we took it in, and, you know, okay, cool. We're handing this over. You figure it out. It doesn't start. We know that much. We're not gonna tell you what it needs. It doesn't start. And I know the thing is like, you know what I mean, just about salesmen and auto repair shops, they're all looking to rip you off, right? Um, you know, at this point, I trust the experts, and I know that I'm by taking it to a dealership, I'm willing to pay a little bit more of a premium price. Pay attention. There's a lesson here. I'm willing to pay more of a premium price because these people are experts in this particular brand or particular make and model, So I go, okay, I go, all right, the car doesn't start. This is what it does. We give them the diagnostic, at least from our end, but we don't place any expectation. We try and have an idea of what needs to get done. The mechanic calls me back, lets me know we found XYZ. It's not ABC. So this is what you're looking at, and from there, I make the decision, right? That's my reality. I make the decision on whether, not I, but we as a family make a decision on whether or not we move forward, and that's that. I don't question whether or not I don't know. I don't question whether or not I've been swindled. I don't question whether or not everything is right or wrong. I know that they've done their work. There's a warranty that stands behind it, a guarantee that stands behind it. In that sense, maybe we as creatives are not lucky enough to give a guarantee. You know what I mean? Because business is business. But I would say that what you do as a creative and the processes that you set up in your life as a creative to position yourself as an expert, to position yourself to be in a role where the expectations of getting every job that come your way don't match the reality. It's fine because those expectations no longer exist, and you face the reality of going like, no, okay, I know I've positioned myself to get 3 or 4 premium clients. You're doing great if you're doing that, by the way. Get 3 or 4 premium clients per month, while striking out with 100. That's reality. That's reality. And if you can accept it, if you can face that, then you can move forward and that comfort zone starts to disintegrate a little bit, in the sense of it creates a new comfort zone, and then you get a new place to build off of and new place to build off of. Because it's really, man, all this is scaffolding. There's not one place that I am looking to stay. You know what I mean? Like, the goals are always changing. And I would say that, right, my goals aren't exactly my expectation. I kind of want to expand on that in the sense of I will set my goals for Saturn, but if I end up at Jupiter, I'm okay. So, it's kind of like, what was it? Shoot for the moon, you end up among the stars or something like that. I'm not looking to live in the results. I'm not looking to rest on my laurels. I'm looking constantly for the next challenge. I think that's a big part. I think that's a very, very, very big part of expectations. You expect one thing, and it's going to be the end-all, be-all result, and it's going to be the one thing that pulls you and saves you, and it's going to be the thing that catapults you to the next level, and it's going to be the thing that... No, it's not. It's not, man. It's always going to be... Aim, just constantly, just do the work, and the rest will follow. Look for ways to express yourself creatively. I talk to designers. This is for designers. This is for creatives. Go. Don't let expectation be the baseline for your reality. It sounds weird. Don't let expectation be the baseline for your reality. Don't let your reality be based on a what if or on a one day. You got to look at what you got now, and you got to look at what you're dealing with. Look at what cards you're holding. You know what I mean? And then that's when you figure out your next move. And like I said before, man, if you need help, seek it out. Seek it out. If you need advice, send me a question. Send me a message. Let me know. If there's I can. That'll probably be something I need to come up with. Hold on, let me write that down. Is a list of places and things where I've gotten my inspiration and perspective from. Because there's so much stuff that I've just kind of gathered and learned and realized. Really a lot of stuff that I've realized, and for lack of a better term, kind of a lot of unbrainwashing from things. And there was always a doubt on feeling like the expectation out there was that, I need a degree. That the expectation out there was, I need to be formally trained. That the expectation out there was this guy, this gentleman, is creative, is accredited and blah, 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 and paid X amount of dollars to get this piece of paper that says he did it. And the reality of it is no, people just care if you get the work done. And if you can, we're in the position of we can get the work done. Myself, I see tons of young designers out there that I get so much inspiration from, and that push me and propel me forward and propel me to try. It just makes me want to be a little not even like them, but just kind of go man, there was a little bit of me that kind of felt disappointment, or a feeling of grief, or a feeling of not resentment. I don't want to say resentment. A feeling of jealousy. Yeah. Jealousy of man, I wish I was lucky enough to know this, to know this perspective, or at least know what the options are for learning and for growing and becoming a better person and a better designer, and all the help that's out there. I wish I knew that this was out there when I was their age, when I was in my 20s. And then I look at it. And I realize 15 years ago, YouTube and all that stuff and didn't exist. And I was barely, Facebook barely came out in 2006, and I remember starting a Facebook in 2005 or 2006 because I had a Cal State Fullerton email address for the semester that I was there. And I got on Facebook, and I remember that. So there weren't many options online. There were still a lot of gatekeepers. And I'm in the process of learning, and I'm still accepting that, because my expectation is that all of you out there see me as an expert and see me as somebody who is 1,000% qualified and infallible and perfect. And the reality of the situation, man, is I'm still learning. I have a lot of perspective from previous experiences, but I'm just starting. I'm just learning, and I don't know if that's normal. Um I'm sure that'll be something I ask future guests once we finally get the art of the craft rolling. I'm sure that's something I'm really interested in asking people is like, do you ever feel like you're done? Do you ever feel regret? Do you feel like you started on time or you're late? Or I mean, like, I don't know. Like, I don't mean to place this on people, but uh, just trying to get other people's perspective on that, because I know that I myself, I ping pong back and forth sometimes between feeling like, uh, feeling a ton of regret and feeling a weight of regret for not doing this and not learning this and not proceeding with Instagram challenges and reaching out for help and taking more online courses that aren't thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. Um, I ping pong between that and knowing that, well, I didn't have that before, and I have what I have now. So I mean, I don't know. I guess in a good way that kind of not summarizes, but it kind of wraps up our. But it's a good comparison to our topic of expectation versus reality. I mean, what's the reality? What's my reality? It's knowing that, yeah, no, I'm still learning, and it's a lifetime of learning, and I'm never done learning, and I'm so glad for that. I never want to stop learning. I never want to stop, learning new techniques. And it's like the little things that, knowing that, my son, I learn new things from my son every day, like things that I forgot. You know, I talk with my wife, and I do with, you know, I talk with my hands a lot. I feel like I wave my hands around a lot, and I forget about that, and then I relearn that, oh, I talk with my hands a lot because my son's making fun of me because he's he's sitting right next to me waving his hands too, you know what I mean? Because he picks up on little things. It's that type of feeling of like knowing that you got to look at life through eyes like that, through the eyes of a newborn. I mean, good God, man, I sound so cliche, but it's the truth. I mean, it's the truth. Taking that time to look at it with brand new eyes and a brand new perspective and a fresh perspective versus a perspective that's just, okay, now what? You know, I think we do that with our expectations. Okay, now what? What else is coming my way? Oh, I didn't get this. And especially nowadays, I don't know. I don't want to go down that road of like, okay, nowadays with Amazon Prime, we all expect things quicker and faster and everything, 20 seconds before we did it. And for me, I know that my expectation of trying to be an expert and trying to be infallible and perfect, like I told you before, man, my perfectionism, I battle. I battle a lot. And with that, comes the expectation that I'm looked at as perfect because I don't want to be able to face any critiques. And so, you know what, man? I got to let go of that expectation and learn to embrace the reality of going like, no, we're all going to learn and we're all going to, yeah, man. Like, what was it? Like, he who has not sinned cast the first stone. That kind of mentality. Like, yeah, well, yeah, stuff's going to happen. Stuff's not going to happen. And regardless, you know what I mean? Whatever happens, happens, and however the world turns and however it happens, just, it's a whole bunch. I mean, I don't know. Maybe too much to digest just in one episode. Maybe too much to, maybe this is a deep dive. More on expectations, and we can talk about it with guests and see how they've battled expectations and how they've overcome this stuff and overcome this adversity and embrace the resistance and move forward, and there's a formula for it, man. You can reverse engineer success. You can reverse engineer anything. All right, cool. What's the process? What are the steps? Don't live in the results. I think that's a crucial lesson. Don't live in the results. If you accomplish it, cool. If you don't, cool. I know I said that before. I'm trying to have that more with my designs. If you like it, cool. I appreciate it. If you don't like it, cool. I appreciate it. Making sure that my reality is calibrated to my goals, to my objectives, and to my needs. Trying to make sure, yeah, man, I'm just making sure everything's basically taken care of and covered, and allowing me to do stuff like this. You know what I mean? I love this. I really do. Somebody at work asked me, oh man, what do you got? What do you got planned? It's well, what you got planned for the weekend? And I told them, just podcasting and hanging out with family. And it'd be so easy not to do this. It'd be so easy to sit down. I know I don't know. I feel like I make sense at times, and then I ping pong back and forth, and I feel like I ramble, and I know that if you're able to decipher or if you're able to pick through it and stick with me, that there's something maybe you can learn through my process, and something maybe that you can figure out and pull for yourself. Other than that, I'm grateful. Thank you for joining me for another episode. Thank you for sticking in there with me, man. You know what I mean? So I hope you like, I hope you comment, I hope you subscribe, I hope you hit that notification bell to make sure you stay tuned in to the latest episodes and the latest inside look at my life between screens. It's my expectation, and hopefully we turn it into a reality of knowing, growing, learning together. You know what I mean? Making this place a little bit better, providing a little bit more value to each other, I don't know, man. I don't want to get too hippie, but let's just say, if we can all learn from each other, and we can learn to kind of create our little community, then hey, you know what I mean? We feed off each other, we help each other out. One falls, we pick each other up, and we move forward. And I appreciate you guys. This keeps me calibrated, and this keeps me accountable to providing. And yeah, thank you. Until next time, this is Life Between Screens. Peace.